ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as was the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. I don't think that it is a surprise to everyone now that we are finally seeing that major pullback on Bitcoin that we have been expecting. Listen, we ran all the way up to almost $49,000. And then since then, we have dipped all the way sub $40,000. The big thing to note here, right, is what I was saying all along while the ETF drama was at an all-time high all over social media. I said the big thing to focus on is stacking stablecoins, and now you see why. A lot of people are under the impression that this dip is not done yet, and that it is going to go lower, and it could very well do so. As we look at the 24-hour span, there are some altcoins that are still green, but it's slightly. For the most part, we are seeing this across the board on a lot of altcoins. They are down tremendously. Now, I will say this, one thing to note is XRP. XRP it really didn't have a massive sell-off like most altcoins. If we go all the way back to the 19th, we were sitting at about 53 cents. We're sitting at about 53 cents right now. It's kind of crazy to think about. So XRP didn't have a massive sell-off like we were expecting, but it could definitely still happen. And we need to be aware of that. We need to be cautious. And also, Bitcoin dominance is still at around 50%, so Bitcoin could still have a major pullback even below $40,000 down to the mid to low $30,000 range, like I just recently said in a video. If actually look at this post at Nastay XBT post it. I feel as though this is everyone's overall thought process right now on Bitcoin. So we have Bitcoin is down 20% since the golden rejection so far, and history tells us that drop is not over yet. And here we actually have the overall charts from 2016, 2019, and even 2024. And we can actually see the 618 rejection, and we can see the percentage, right? 29.25%, 30.34%, and right now we are at about roughly 20%. If we do have a 30% drop, we would be sitting at about roughly almost $35,000. Like I said, the low to mid region on 30K is the key level to watch for. Now, again, if we do see that, yes, altcoins will get hurt even more, and they will have a pretty large sell-off. So we definitely need to focus on that and be aware. Now, outside of that, what is a lot of this sell pressure really coming from, right? Well, it's Grayscale. So Grayscale has been dumping a ton of Bitcoin. For an example, here's a better way to look at it. So this is a post recently by Whalewire. Now, I've talked about Whalewire in the past. It's a very bearish account for the most part. But we have Justin. Grayscale has just sent a whopping $900 million plus worth of Bitcoin to Coinbase Exchange. Looks like they're getting ready to dump even more. Be careful, folks. Now, if we look at the sell pressure and the pressure on the Bitcoin ETFs, XRP Drops put out a great post on this. We have 6 days of trading. 95,000 Bitcoin are now held. Fidelity and BlackRock are neck and neck for the top slots. How long will the selling pressure at Grayscale Bitcoin be maintained? So far, the sell-offs have been absorbed by the other Bitcoin ETF issuers, especially BlackRock. And here we actually have the Bitcoin ETFs hold almost $4 billion in assets, but we could see all of the positive Bitcoin ETF flows. But at the bottom, you have Grayscale at negative 2,806, which is pretty significant in terms of a major sell-off. Meanwhile, they are still marketing their spot Bitcoin ETF. It's kind of interesting. Now, a lot of people have been calling for manipulation, that this is, them trying to cause chaos in the market. It doesn't really matter. Listen, at the end of the day, we knew that the Bitcoin ETF was going to get sold off anyways initially. And all the smart money knew that the Bitcoin ETF news was all just a big hype show anyway. So it wasn't going to result in Bitcoin skyrocketing to $100,000 or anything like that. But I do think that this is a pullback in the short term on the path to all-time highs. So in my opinion, I'm not too concerned right now at all. I'm still focused on the end goal here, which is, of course, we are still in the middle of this next cycle. But also, We have a few events that we need to watch for. XRP drops put this out. The biggest Bitcoin sales drivers in Q1 and Q2 2024. Grayscale reduced from 621,000 Bitcoin to just under 580,000 Bitcoin since ETF launch. Mt. Gox, 138,000 Bitcoin could be released in 2024, possible before Q3. Celsius, around 38,000 Bitcoin are in solvency proceedings. And then also FTX, around 20,500 Bitcoin also in bankruptcy proceedings. And then Miner, approximately 32,000 Bitcoin hoarded by miners in the run-up to the next halving. These are expected to be sold during 2024. And of course, the US government, 194,000 Bitcoin from criminal seizures. Now, again, we don't know if all of this is going to have a massive sell-off in this year or even in Q1, Q2, and Q3. But this is still things that we need to be aware of. And a big warning to all of you out there, make sure that you still have 10 to 15% stablecoins on the sidelines. I see a lot of people saying, you know, we've been in a very bullish market for a while and you still have 10 to 15% stablecoin exposure. Yeah, 100%. Listen, don't let anyone mock you for having stablecoin exposure. It is so damn crucial. Nobody wants to continue buying the dip. That's how you go broke. You want to make sure that you have stablecoins on the sidelines so that when significant levels are hit, that's when you actually buy the dip. You average in. I see too many people just buying negative candles. Oh, it dropped by 5%. I got to buy more. It's ridiculous. It's better to buy support than buy, you know, something that is just continuously falling. So as we really look at stablecoin and stablecoin holdings, I do think that everyone should have about 10 to 15% allocated on the sidelines just for major buy opportunities. Again, I treat it as accumulation, just similar to any other altcoin in this market. Stablecoin accumulation is a big deal to me, in my opinion. But also, the USGAO, Government Accountability Office, they have been very bearish at the same exact time that this has been happening, the Grayscale sell-off. This goes back to January 16th. We have economic sanctions allow the US to pressure foreign entities that work against our interests, but digital assets such as cryptocurrencies can be used to evade those sanctions efforts, or effects, sorry. Last time I checked, I could easily move physical US dollars around the world. Fiat currency, sanctions don't really stop it fully. Fiat currency can easily be utilized and moved even with sanctions in place. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Elizabeth Warren just recently quoted this on the 21st, and we do have a new USGAO report confirms that rogue nations are using crypto to dodge sanctions and undermine our national security. It's time for crypto to follow the same anti-money laundering rules as everyone else. I've got a bill to make it happen. No, Elizabeth Warren, you have a bill to blanket ban crypto. That's right. These are people that want to stop you out of holding and buying and selling crypto. But again, this is what's happening in the US. And I always say the US does not determine what happens around the world. But I find it so comical that these people continue to tout their nonsense at the same exact time that they get completely shut down by individuals from the space. Like, for an example, thinking Crypto One, when are you going to make your bankster buddy Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan comply with the laws? You are a lying hypocrite. And here we actually have judge approves JP Morgan's $290 million settlement with Epstein victims. Also, check this out. JP Morgan hit with a $200 million in fines for letting employees use WhatsApp to evade regulators' reach. This was in 2021, the end of 2021. But guess what? You know what's funny about this? Zero Hedge. He goes, shut up, because money laundered since 2017 using USD and Bitcoin. This is in the billions, by the way. Look at this, 20,000 versus 33. So when we really look at what's going on here, right? They are creating a narrative. They want to create this narrative because they know at this current moment in time, we are nearing a golden opportunity to buy more altcoins on the low before the next big run up. But you know what's funny? Going back to this post by Thinking Crypto One, Tony Edward, JP Morgan recently got fined $18 million. This was January 21st. For forcing customers to stay silent about banks' bad behavior. Whether it's in your employment contracts, settlement agreements, or elsewhere, you simply cannot include provisions that prevent individuals from contacting the SEC with evidence of wrongdoing. This is the quote. But that's exactly what we allege JP Morgan did here. For several years, it forced certain clients into the untenable position of choosing between receiving settlements or credits from the firm and reporting potential securities law violations to the SEC. But let's actually look at this, right? This is $18 million for them hiding significant information away from the SEC. This is the largest bank out there. $18 million is peanuts to them. Why am I bringing this up? Because go back to October 29th of 2023. The SEC won $770 million from Ripple. Do you see the problem here? If you are in crypto, you are getting hit with massive fines. If you're outside of crypto and you are a big bank, well, guess what? Don't worry, you're only going to get hit with, a couple $1 million worth of fines. Big banks should be held far more accountable than companies within crypto. You really want to build trust? Hold these bankers and these big banks accountable for their actions. $18 million is doing nothing. But also Library. They completely bankrupted Library. Outside of that, there's been a ton of other players as well. Coinbase, Binance, Kraken. I mean, it's insane. But last but not least, we also have this from Meta Lawman. In the Coinbase and Binance hearings, because again, these are two significant ones. Now, Binance, they agreed to pay like a $4.3 billion fine. It was the most substantial fine in history, I believe. The SEC touted the benefits of the guidance it had given about how to analyze whether crypto tokens are securities. Yet they omitted any mention of Bill Hinman's invention of this efficiently decentralized test. And as if it was never, a thing. It never happened. But here we have Paul Grewal, which, by the way, for those that don't know, this is the chief legal officer at Coinbase. It's even worse than that. When asked point blank about Mr. Hinman, they acted as if the question wasn't in fact asked. Look at this. This is absolutely ridiculous. The court. I understand that, right? And that's good. Was it Mr. Hinman or someone else who said that? Someone from your shop who is no longer there has said that. So yes, token alone, not a security. So tell me what makes these the securities. This goes to what I said before about, and we have the court, the ecosystem, about what it is that someone is buying when they purchased a particular. So there was no question at all. There was no answer to the question. There was no conversation about Bill Hinman or anything like that. It is so comical at this point, right? They are protecting individuals like Bill Hinman, and they don't want the top to blow off in terms of the ETHgate scenario. Again, we have still, we've been focusing on that for a while, and we still want major answers for what actually happened. Because right now, as we really look at this space, the SEC is still on a warpath, especially with the Coinbase case. I think that everyone should be watching the Coinbase case. I talked about it. If the SEC wins, they have full control over exchanges, and it would ultimately really kind of corner the overall market in terms of liquidity. And that is the blood of this market. Without it, guess what? You can't buy, you can't sell. It's going to be extremely challenging. But the big thing is, again, a big thing to note is that the SEC and Gary Gensler don't determine what actually happens. Outside of the US, this market is only going to continue to thrive. The big thing to note is technology always wins. But the big thing that I'm worried about is US-based customers within crypto and holders. Make sure that you are cold storaging your crypto. Make sure that you are taking every single step serious here. Meaning, have cold storage. have VPNs, have all of this set up. Because if you don't, I'm telling you guys, you could very well be targeted. But also outside of that, I really do think that we need to focus on a lot of these cases with Coinbase, Binance, and so many other exchanges that are being targeted by the SEC right now. It's crazy that this is still ongoing, but it all stems from the overall picture that they want to paint. And these individuals like Elizabeth Warren are still pulling the strings. They are still utilizing regulators. The bankers are also tapped in with regulators. There's a lot of money, in my opinion, that is flowing around behind the scenes that is really making these moves. The moves are being made by money play. So to me personally, a lot of corruption, a lot of manipulations happening at a time where the market is in turmoil. There's a lot of turbulence. Again, strap in, because we could very well see a lot more bearish price action leading into later this week and into February. Remember, February is usually a terrible month for crypto. So we still need to be aware of that. We still need to be focused on that. Again, don't be impulsive and sell all your positions because you think everything's going to go lower. The fear and greed index is starting to drop heavily. A lot of people are still losing the overall focus of where we are at right now in this market. And I do love to see that because, again, it shows you that we are getting close. But outside of all of this, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. Also, if you guys do want to go check out NordVPN, guys, 63% off right now utilizing my link down in the description below, as well as in the comments. $3.99 a month. You cannot beat this at all. This is the best VPN out there. And the best part about it is they accept cryptocurrencies for a 2-year plan. It's $101. Of course, tax country does determine this, but it is roughly around $100. You cannot beat this. And it is so much more than just a VPN. This includes a ton of other things like malware scans, alerts about leaked credentials, trackers, and even ad blockers. Guys, go check it out. Link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.